your passwords, things like that. So I'm going to log in here to Auburn site. And the first page we're going to see is called Maps Online. So this is the desktop version now of your stormwater mapping. On the left-hand side, we have all of our different layers: address numbers, street names, parcel IDs. We have some stormwater mapping issue layers, draft asset layers, and then our actual stormwater system itself. Now, the stormwater system, there are a lot of components to it. You have outfalls, which we're going to call discharge points in the software. It's a little more generalized. It fits the permit a little better. We have inlets. That's just water going into your system. Most of the time, it's going to be a catch basin. Again, it's a more generalized term. Manholes, BMPs, bunch of different types of pipes. Scrolling down here on the list, we have some layers to guide you for your inspections. Now, the inspections will be done with the quick asset tool. We're going to cover that next in just a few minutes here. But this is more of a guide to help you meet your permit requirements for inspections. Then we have stormwater catchment polygons. So right now, not every town has these polygons. It is a requirement for MS4. You do need your catchments delineated, and we do have some data-driven tools for IDDE. So you'll be able to track your illicit discharge, and that's going to be based off your catchment polygon. So I'll show you guys how that tool works as well. Again, that is data-driven. So if we don't have your catchment polygons yet, the tool is not going to work yet. But once we get that data, we'll set the tool up for you guys. All right. And then we have build-ins. Here in Auburn, we have contours as well, parcels, and our base map. So as we zoom in on the map, we can use our plus on the right-hand side here. More layers will turn on for us. We'll see our outfalls turn on, our pipes are going to turn on, and we zoom in again, we'll get our catch basins, manholes. All right, so as you guys are in the field with the quick asset tool, again, we'll cover that in just a few minutes. They're going to be adding new assets that aren't on the map yet. That's going to update this map live as well. So the data's all going to be in sync. So a few tools here on the right-hand side. We can identify features. We'll click the Identify tool. It's going to turn orange for us. And then we can click on a manhole or a catch basin. We can click on a pipe, and we can identify that feature. So here we have a fairly large parcel selected. We have a manhole and a couple pipes. We're going to click on the manhole, and now we'll have more information about that specific manhole. We'll see an ID in here. The address is filled in. And there's all these different types of attributes here on the left-hand side. So your field crew will be collecting these attributes as they're at the asset. And that's really going to help you complete your system. Here we have a map and date. And way at the bottom, we have a link to open up the form. We can click that link, and now we can make edits to those attributes. We can pick a manhole type if we wanted to, who owns it. If there's any photos, we can attach photos, documents, so things like as-built plans can be attached to the record. On this map, we also have the ability to print. So we can find a neighborhood in town. Once we have our scale set here, we can hit the print icon, and we'll be able to print the map out. So you can print different types of neighborhoods. We can see our pipes and outfalls are turned on. On the left-hand side, we can change our page size. We can change to 11 by 17. If we need to, we can go up to 48 by 36. So a 4-foot by 3-foot map, that's pretty large. So if you do need that for your community, just let me know, and I can turn it on the map for you. And on the left-hand side, we're going to have all of our different layers. So you can turn layers on and off on the PDF here, refresh the PDF, and that's going to update your print preview for you. All right, any questions so far? And let me know if I'm going too fast too. Feel free to slow me down. All right, some more tools on the right-hand side. We're going to scroll over here and zoom in again. So we do have a tool here. It's going to be a yellow point with 4 arrows. That's going to allow you to move a stormwater asset from this map here. So I can click on the tool. So it's a single click, and then click on an asset. So we can click on, say, the catch basin. We'll get an icon on top of the catch basin. And we can actually just click and drag this icon. And if I were to hit save, that's going to then move that catch basin to a new location. If there's any pipes already connected, it's going to move the pipes as well. All right, so I'm going to hit cancel here. I don't want to move Auburn stuff around on them. But that's a really quick way to move points from this map here. You can also do so from that quick asset tool. And again, we'll cover that. Up next is a tool to draw a pipe. So this pipe tool, you'll be able to snap 2 different features together. We're going to click the tool once. And now we'll click on a structure, say the manhole here. And we've got a yellow icon. And now we'll click our downstream structure, say the outfall. Oops. We'll bring it to this manhole here instead. Now that we have 2 points selected, we have a start point now for the pipe and an end point. We'll see on the map a pipe will be drawn at this location. And now we can fill in our attributes for the pipe. So we could say it's a main, it's round. We'll fill in the diameter, material. Location is going to fill in automatically. So we do have all of your town's addresses already loaded into the system. So when you add a point or a pipe, we know where in town you are. So we can fill that in automatically. It's a pain to type on a tablet. And that's going to kind of standardize your data too. So that way all streets are spelled the same way. At this point, we'll pick our ownership. We'll go down to pipe details. So we have a from and a to facility ID. Those are going to fill in automatically. Again, we're using that snapping tool, so we know the start point and the end point of the pipe already. Fill in slope, installation date, line year, liner type. Type in any comments that you want. Training record. And then we get down to map details. And let's collapse the map here so we can see the full form. So we can fill in our mapping date, who's doing the mapping, what method's being used. And you'll see that map status of draft is already defaulted. So on the tablet, we can use the GPS, and that's going to finalize our location. So MRSWC does have the Leica units. So those are 2 centimeter accuracy, and they work with the software here. You can use your URLs on the Leica device. So you can really get good accuracy for your assets. All right, so here we're just doing, we'll say it's a tablet for now, mapped by the town, draft, and we can submit our record. And just like that, we've added a new pipe now to our system. And that's going to show up on everybody's maps, because we're a cloud-based software here. All right, any questions on adding the pipe? Cool. So next is going to be these 2 arrows here that kind of go in opposite directions. That's going to allow you to flip the direction of the pipe. So with pipes, they are gravity. So we want to know what way that water is flowing. We'll see some arrows on the map to help let us know what direction that is. And if we need to, we can flip the direction. So we're going to click on the tool once. And it's a single tap on a pipe. And that's going to redraw the map now in the opposite direction for your arrows. So some of you guys just starting off, your data might have different flow direction here, but you'll be able to change it with this tool. And the last tool here on this map is this orange guy. This one's kind of new to us too. So we can click on the orange man, and we can put him in the street here. And this will give you your Google Street View. So you can scroll down the street, and you'll see the map in the background is going to move with you. So you can see right here is a manhole. Some towns, they can take a screenshot of the manhole and then attach that photo to the record in the form. So it's kind of like field work from your desk in a way. All right, any questions on the tools? Cool. All right, at the bottom here we have a map info tab. It's going to give us a scale bar. So if I were to zoom out, that scale bar will update for us. We'll have our coordinates here as well. And we'll see icons here for find, zoom, and follow. Now on a computer, you're not going to use that too much on a computer, but on a tablet, you're out in the fields, you hit find, the map's just going to highlight your location for you. If you hit zoom, the map's going to zoom into your location. And then finally follow is going to allow the map to kind of track you as you drive around town, and it's going to keep you centered on the map. And it just makes it a lot easier in the fields. And then we have some measuring tools as well here on this map. We can measure a distance, or we can measure an area. So we click the tool one time, and now we can go to the map. Having a hard time clicking this. There we go. So now a single click, and we'll see this red line here draw, and followed by another single click, and then we can just keep drawing. Double click to end, and at the bottom we'll have our distance here in feet now. Eventually, when you get up to, say, a town-wide level, it will convert to miles automatically. So the further zoomed out you are, the better your units are going to be. And we can also measure our area. So to measure area, again, we'll just do single clicks on the map, and we'll see this polygon draw for us. Double click to end. So it's a quick way to get your square footage of an area. And again, eventually when you get to a town-wide level, it's going to convert to square miles automatically. All right, so this final tab here is called Find. Now, some of you towns, you are doing more with us than just stormwater. So this tool is going to look a little different to other communities. But we'll be able to search by address, owner, parcel ID. So here we're going to search by the address. And all the addresses, again, they're preloaded into the map. So only your town's addresses are going to show up here. We could say Newland Street, number 1. The map's going to zoom right over to that location. And here in Auburn, again, they are doing more than just stormwater with us. So we do have it tied to their assessor's database. So we can pull that data in, and now we have all of our property information right on this map here. And that data is staying up to date nightly as well. All right, guys, any questions on the Maps Online site? You're a quiet group. So let's jump over to Stormwater Reports. And that's going to be our second tab here at the top. And we'll see Stormwater Reports here. Now, reports, we'll probably have about 20 or so up here in the system. And they're pretty straightforward. We're just going to pick our filters here. So first is going to be our inventory summary. It's going to be a live snapshot of all of our data in the map. If someone were to add a new asset or change the attributes of an asset, it's going to appear the next time you run the report. So it's always a live snapshot. Here we're going to generate the report for all of our assets. And it's going to be all of our stormwater assets. So we're going to get a breakdown of different types of assets. So we have BMPs, we have our discharge points, our gravity drains. You're going to see when we get down to gravity drains, there's a couple of different line items here. You can see we have columns for type, material, ownership, who maintains it. So all unique combinations of these 4 columns will get their own line item here on the report. And that's going to give you your inventory. So here at town-owned corrugated metal, there's only one pipe at 128 feet. So as the town, as the field guys fill in the attributes, this report's going to be more detailed for you. But at the bottom, we'll get a total count. 3,200 pipes, about 320,000 feet. And then we get down to inlets. So with inlets, we have different types: catch basin, double catch basins, field inlets. It could be the beginning of a culvert, just water going into your system. So again, a breakdown of each unique combination of type, material, ownership, and who maintains it. But we'll get that total count right at the bottom. And all of these reports too, by the way, they are PDF files. You can download them, print them out from the map or from the report page here. Attach them in an email, whatever you need to do with them. You'll be able to definitely get this out of the system. So another filter here is only MS4. So that's going to filter out all of your private assets for you, because the private assets aren't part of your MS4. It's not your problem to worry about, but it is good to have that information on the map, especially for the field guys. So we do have that filter there as well. All right, up next is an inspection summary. So as it stands now, you'll be able to pick a year, and you'll be able to get a generate a report for your inspections for the given year. We're working on some more filters. We could do current MS4 year, current quarter, current week. You can see inspections today. So those filters are coming soon. And we'll have some more filters as well to filter by ownership. So you can filter out the private ones, only see the town-owned ones. But as it stands now, we'll pick our year, generate report. So here in Auburn, we're just starting off here, so there are no inspections quite yet, but we'll have inspections for inlets, manholes. With outfalls, you have dry and wet weather inspections you got to do. BMP inspections, gravity drains. So all these different types of inspections, we'll be able to see our progress for the year. We have our total number of structures, how many are to be inspected this year, how many have been inspected this year. That's going to give you a percent. And you'll see on the right is a pie chart, so that's going to start to turn green as you get these inspections done. Yeah, so Spencer, you guys have a lot of data there, yeah.
1428, 670 being inspected, 758 inspected today, 50%.
Right, yeah, so your pie charts they're getting pretty green at this point. And keep in mind, we have those purple layers too behind the catch basins, behind the outfalls, and that's going to guide you to complete these inspections. All right. Up next, we have asset-specific reports here. So these are all going to be similar reports, and you'll see all the different types of assets. So let's go here to inlets, and we're going to generate the report for inlets. Now on this report, this is only for inlets now. We're going to see these different fields from the form. Unique ID, ownership, installation date, who maintains the asset, condition, and you'll see our percent complete. So with our software, you're always going to have a unique ID. If you were to add a new asset, it just automatically gets a number. And that way you can add photos, add inspections to the asset immediately. We are going to expand this report in the very near future. We're going to have every field from the form. And towns will get to pick and choose what fields are important to them, and they'll show up on this report here. So something like wall material or cover type, we'll add them into this report. And again, it's going to be a live snapshot. So if I were to update, say, 200 catch basins, put their ownership information in, we'll run the report again, Now my percent complete is probably around 10%. So it's always going to be a live breakdown. When we go down to all here, we'll have reports for unconnected assets and draft assets as well. So unconnected assets, I believe this report is coming soon. Yeah, you may see this man from time to time. That means we want to build a report. We're just not quite sure what to build yet. So we definitely do take feedback from our clients. We're working with our clients. We bring in a couple DPW directors. John Woodsmall represents the MRSWC for this group. And we just sit down and prioritize different types of reports we need, different things the software needs to do. So our clients are driving us to enhance the software, and we're constantly making updates. So here's a report we want to build. We're just not quite sure what to build quite yet. So you may see this guy here from time to time. And if you guys have your own ideas for reports too, I would definitely love to hear them. We can build them into the software. So we keep all of our clients on the same database model. That's totally by design. So when we make a new report, it just works for everybody. All right. And then draft assets. We do have a report here for draft assets. So again, your draft versus final assets. If you were to map a new asset on a tablet, that's considered a draft location. Your tablet's GPS is maybe 30-foot accuracy at best. That's going to depend on your cell service. But you guys do have the Leica units with CMRSWC. I know you guys use them a lot in Spencer. And that's 2-centimeter accuracy. So once you do get that GPS, you're going to finalize the location for that asset. All right. And here we do have the filter for ownership, because you don't really need a GPS to private assets. Actually, according to the permit, you only need 30-foot accuracy for your outfalls. So they don't necessarily have to be GPS, but it is very helpful, especially in the wintertime too, when you're trying to find that catch basin in the field and it's buried. So here we have the filter here for ownership. We generate report. And it looks like we just have that draft asset pipe that we just added earlier. But we'll have a link to that asset record. So I can open up the record in the form. We have the address here as well, so you know exactly where to go in town to find that draft asset. We'll have the ownership information, what method was used to map it, who did that mapping, and the data was mapped as well. So your goal is to get rid of your tablet map methods, and you want to get your points GPS'd. And finally, we have labs. Again, these are reports that we want to build. The permit requires you to collect samples from your outfalls and test them. In some cases, you got to send that sample into a lab to get tested. So it's definitely a permit requirement. We just haven't seen any town quite do that yet. It's really expensive to do that work. So once we start seeing some data, we're going to know what kind of reports to build, and they'll just show up here automatically for you guys. All right, so again, these reports, we're constantly making new reports. When we do, they'll just appear automatically. I do my best to notify you guys. So that way you know there's new reports out, and they're always going to be a live snapshot of your data. So as you do inspections, the report's going to update. As you add new assets, the report updates. So everything's always in sync for you and always up to date. All right, any questions on reports? Cool. All right, up next, we're going to jump to an employees table. So this is a new feature from last winter. You're going to see in our inspection forms, we have employees kind of preloaded into the forms, and that's going to vary from town to town. And it's going to be controlled here through the employees table. So at the bottom, I can scroll back a record here. And I've got Joanne's record in here. We have an email address. And that's going to allow us to now log into this web page. We saw we needed a login to get here. Our employee status right now is active. So if someone were to leave town, instead of deleting their record, you can just mark them as retired or inactive, and they'll disappear from the software. As you scroll down, we'll see a people form section here. So now we can enable the login, we can reset the password, and when we update the record, that's going to change the password for you. So I try to set up your guys' employees tables just based on who's going to be here today. So most of you should have a record already, but to create a new login now, you can use this employees town-wide form. Just fill in the email, assign a password, and we'll hit yes here to enable that login. And then now the person can get into this page here. All right. And Auburn, Oxford, you have the people forms already, so you can just use your user manager as well. It's the same tool. And finally, we got these stormwater assets. So now this will control who shows up where in different forms. So you're going to see we have a stormwater manhole inspection form, an inlet inspection form, inlet cleanings, discharge point inspections. So marking yes to these questions will make this employee show up in those forms. All right, any questions? Cool. And our last tab here is going to be check in, check out. Now you guys are working with Fuss & O'Neill for the engineering portion of the data. From time to time they may ask you for a copy of your data. So in those cases you can come here to check in, check out. And all you got to do is hit the download button here, and it's going to give you a file geodatabase of all of your stormwater assets. It does take some time to run, so I'm not going to run it just a second here. So you can download your data, and once you have a copy downloaded, you can make edits to that local copy now in your Esri environment. And then you can lock the database. And while the database is locked, people in the field won't be able to make edits, because now you have kind of two different data sets, and they'll be out of sync. So you can lock the system so people in the field can't make edits. You can make your edits locally. And when you're done, you can use our check-in tool and upload that file geodatabase back to the software. And when that's complete, you can unlock the system. And now people in the field will have your edits, and now they can make more edits in the field. Yeah, I think it was Dudley, we set up a login for Fuss & O'Neill, so they can just log into Dudley's page, and they can get to this check-in, check-out tool themselves. I'm happy to give training to Fuss & O'Neill, so if you guys want to create a login for Fuss & O'Neill, you can go to your employees tab here. Just make them kind of a dummy record here, but that's going to give them a password to log into your site. All right. So any questions on Maps Online, reports, employees?
I'm going to join you on that tab, okay?
All right.
Do we have to be on the laptop version to create a link for new employees to get on it?
Yeah, so for you guys, I may have to set you two up.
Yeah.
And then one of you can control who else can log in from there.
Okay.
All right. All right, let's jump over to our second website here, Quick Asset. That's going to be the top link on your sheet. And this one's really going to be designed for the tablet. So we see it's kind of a similar map, but it's going to be different tools now. And on your tablet, when you first go to the website, they may ask to use your location. Just hit allow there, and then the map's going to zoom right into your location. If you're going to your towns, obviously we're in Auburn, so it may not zoom in because we're not in your town. But the map is designed to kind of follow you around. So when you're out in the field, it just knows where you are. So I'm going to zoom in manually here because I'm on my computer, so the location is not quite working. And as we zoom in again, of course, we're going to get all of our different layers. All right, so on the right-hand side, there's really only a few buttons here. We get the plus and minus. That's going to zoom in, zoom out. You can also pinch and pull with your finger on the tablet. The 4 arrows will bring you back to the town-wide extent. And then finally, we have layers. You guys are all just doing the stormwater, so you don't really have to worry about turning layers on and off quite yet. And here in Auburn, since they're doing more than just stormwater with us, we have aerials as well. So for your stormwater only towns, we don't have the aerials turned on yet. We're trying to work with Google, so that way we can bring in Google imagery to your map. But there's a lot involved with our license. All right, so you can toggle that aerial on and off. The reason we keep the white background on, it's a lot faster to load. So you may be in a part of town where cell service isn't as great, so you'll want to use the white background instead. And that's going to give you a better experience in the field with the performance of the map. And it looks like I'm having some Wi-Fi issues myself here. Yeah, okay. No internet. That's a bummer. All right, it's back. Technicality. All right, so we're going to zoom in here. Now, this map, we don't have an identify tool like that last map did. Instead, we can just do a single click on the map. If we want information on the catch basin, all we're going to do is click on it with our finger. Now on the left-hand side, we have all of our information about that given catch basin. We'll see the address here. Again, address is going to automatically fill in for you. And we can see all these different types of attributes here. So now when you're in the field, you'll be able to update these attributes and kind of complete your system. One of our next projects here is to do condition scoring. So with condition scoring, one thing that we want to take into account is materials. So if you have a brick catch basin, maybe the lifespan is going to be shorter than what a concrete catch basin would provide. So as you start collecting these attributes, that's just more and more data we can work with and kind of predict the lifespan of your assets. All right, so that's our next big goal here. So to change the attributes, we're going to go ahead and hit Open SW Inlet. Now, that's not going to take the cover off the catch basin for you. Maybe that one's coming soon in the future. But it is going to open up the form for you. And now you can make edits to your attributes. We'll see here where we are on the map. Inlet type is going to be a catch basin. The location's just filled in already. We can mark up the ownership. So ownership is one of those important fields there, especially when we add the report filters. You only want to see your town-owned assets in those reports sometimes. So that's definitely a good attribute to fill in. Now in the field, here's where you're going to upload your photo. On a tablet, when you hit choose file here, it's actually going to open up your camera automatically for you. And you're going to snap a photo right in the field, and it's going to upload right to the web. So it's not going to clog up your tablet memory. It's just going to attach the record live in the fields. I'm on a computer right now, so it's going to open up my file directory. And if you're in an area of town, maybe the cell service isn't as great, you can always take a photo with your tablet's photo app. And then when you get back to the office, you can use Upload Document here. And that'll allow you to choose a photo from your gallery. All right. So, hoping the rain holds off here. Maybe we'll go in the parking lot after and practice taking some photos so you guys can see how that process works. And moving down here, we have structure details now. Here we have a legacy ID. That's just the old ID from your old data here. We have a cover type. Is the oil hood present? What's the frame material? Is there a chimney? And if we hit yes here, it's going to ask the diameter and the material as well. The cone type, wall material, bench present, channel installed. So there's a lot of different attributes we can track here. So just a little background on our database model that we have here. It is called the Local Government Information Model. It's a nationwide standard. So we had some older versions of these forms, but we kept getting data from engineering companies, and they all kind of use a similar structure. So we thought it was a good idea to kind of adapt that model, put it in the software. And now when we get data from engineering groups, it just kind of fits right into the software. So it's pretty great. So you see a lot of our forms have similar questions. That's all by design. We just want to make it as easy as we can and get the information that we need. Next, we have some measurements, so rim elevation, invert depth, sump and final depth, which is going to help, you'll see, with the cleaning form. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Installation date, who maintains the asset, date of last edit, and we can type in any comments here as well. You can't have a question for everything. That'll be a pretty long form. But there will be some unique cases where you want to make some comments, so you can freehand type. Now on your tablet, when you click the box, your keyboard may have an option to use a microphone. So you can use the microphone and it'll inject your words into the form. We can't block profanity, so keep it clean. All right. And then we get to the mapping details, and you're going to see the same exact questions here as we saw with the pipe form earlier. Again, that's all by design. So here we have X and Y coordinates. And you may notice as you're following along on your tablet, if we are receiving your GPS data from the tablet, you'll have a button here that says map it. So you can hit map it, it's going to grab your coordinates, it's going to tell you the accuracy, which on your tablet, especially in a building right now, it's going to be 30 feet or so. But once you get your Leica unit, you hit map it, it's going to fill in your X, Y, and your Z fields to 2 centimeter accuracy. So you can certainly use this map on those Leica units, and that's definitely the recommendation for mapping. All right, so once you get your GPS, you're going to hit your RTK here, and then you'll hit final, because that's the final location now. All right, so any questions on added and attributes or taking a photo? Yeah. Yeah, so on the Leica, it looks like my GPS just kicked in. But on the Leica, since it's a Windows-based tablet, it has an internet browser. So you can just go to your town's URL on, it's probably Google Chrome that the Leica has. So we're all web-based. So anything that can get internet, you can get to this map. So there's no apps you have to download or anything. It's just a URL you can go to. Yep. Yeah, so here now that GPS is coming in, we'll see this pretty large map it button here. And when I click it, you'll see the maps are going to move to your location. Yeah, the accuracy is a little off. I'm inside a concrete building here. But it's going to just try to find your location, give you that accuracy. And again, on your Leica unit, it's going to fill in your elevation as well. So it's going to give you your rim elevations. All right, so I'm going to hit close here. I don't want to save this record. All right, so any other questions on added and attributes? And it's going to be the same process too. You can click on a manhole, edit the manhole attributes. Click on an outfall, same thing, you can edit the attributes. All right, so let's say we're driving down Swanson Road here. We're right outside House 21, and we're looking down at the ground as a catch basin, but it's not on the map yet. This is a case that's going to happen a lot, especially with something like a repaved road. The catch basins move around, so you want to update the map as well. So to add a new asset, it's just a single click into blank space here. Since we can't find an existing asset, it's going to ask you if you want to create a new one. So we're going to go down to create an inlet. And again, your inlets are your catch basin. There's just water going in. It's a more generalized term for you. So we're going to click inlets. And just like that, we get a blank form. Our ID is going to fill in automatically when we submit the record. So you don't have to worry about assigning IDs. Back in the day, is people trying to put the map number into the ID, the neighborhood number, but that's a lot of manual effort, and it would take weeks, if not months, for someone to finally do that work. So the software is just going to fill in that ID automatically for you. So here on the map, we got this circle icon here, and that's called set point. So if you're not using the GPS, you can always manually move the point as well. So we can click the tool one time, it turns gray, and then just another single click on the map. That's going to allow you to kind of fine-tune the location without using a GPS. I still recommend using the GPS, but if you need to, you can use this tool as well. All right, so here we're going to fill in catch basin owned by the town. At this point, we're in the field. We're going to take a photo as well. And again, when you hit upload photo, it's going to open up your camera. You can snap the photo. It attaches right to the record. And I'm going to submit the record. So now we have our catch basin on the map. And with the catch basins, we do have a tool to kind of rotate that catch basin along the street center line. So they're going to draw at the real life angle in a way. So here on the left-hand side, we now have our attributes. The location automatically filled in. I didn't type that in. It just filled in automatically for us. But just like that, it's ready to add a clean-in or add an inspection. So whatever crew's out there doing the clean-ins, I'm sure you're going to come across catch basins not on the map. Now you'll be able to add the catch basin to the GIS and clean it, inspect it, take a photo, all within a couple minutes. All right. So let's go ahead and add a clean-in record. Now, are all of you guys doing clean-ins internally, in-house? Okay. Yeah, so there are some towns that are outsourcing their clean-in. So we kind of split this off into two forms here. We have a clean-in and then a separate inspection, because it could be different crews. Previously, we had it all in one form, but now we have two different forms here. So we're going to go ahead and add inlet clean-in. We'll see our ID number just filled in for us. Our clean-in date is here, September 12th. And now who's doing the clean-in? So you guys saw in the employees table, we had a question that says, does this person do inlet clean-ins? If that is marked as yes, that employee will show up here. All right, and we're using the initials of the employee. Next is what method is being used. We'll see clamshell is already checked off for us. If your town only has a vac truck, we'll update the default to the vac truck. So let me know if that's the case, and I can make the change for your community. And now with the cleaning, so the goal of this form is to help you comply with the permit requirement, which is that they want you to keep your sump less than halfway full at all times for all catch basins. So this form here, we're going to first calculate what that sump is and how full it is. And we saw that purple layer in the background. So that's going to try to predict the next time that the catch basin is more than halfway full. It costs you guys money to clean catch basins that don't need the cleaning. So the map's going to be kind of a guide to help you know if the catch basin needs a cleaning. All right, so first we're going to get our initial depth to sediment, and that's going to be from the rim until you hit dirt in the catch basin. So some towns, the chains, the links on their truck are 6 inches, so they count how many chains there are. Some towns are just using a stick, others are just eyeballing it. So whatever your method is, you can type your number in here. And this is a new type of question here, designed for a tablet. So previously you had to click in the box and open up your keyboard, then switch to numbers, type your number in, close the keyboard, but then you made a typo. So it's kind of a pain. So we made this new type of question here for tablets. If our initial depth was, say, 4.5 feet, we could say 4.5. And if we need to, we can backspace. You see we have max and minimum limits here as well. So I can't go over 500 feet. That's going to eliminate some of the human error. So we have our initial depth. We're going to put all the stuff in the back of the truck. And now we just need the final depth of the structure. So from the rim to the bottom of the basin, how deep is the catch basin? Yeah, it's going to be larger than your initial depth. We'll call it 8 feet even. Now if I put, say, 3 feet here and try to submit the record, it's going to flag it. You can't have a final depth smaller than your initial depth because you're taking stuff out. So it's going to be larger. And finally, we need to know where the outgoing pipe is. And your sump is going to be from that outbound pipe down to the bottom of the basin. And that's your sump here, so we'll say maybe 4 feet even. And we'll see our percent of sump full. It's just going to calculate automatically for us. So we know for this particular case we're 88% full, but we've cleaned it now, so it's clean. So next year, maybe that purple layer is going to come back and let us know we're going to clean again. If our sump full right now was 20%, maybe it's going to be 2 years till that purple comes back. Because again, it costs you guys money to clean basins that don't need it. Here we'll take a photo of the inspection, type in any comments that we need, and submit. So a few things will happen here when we submit. First, you'll see that purple is gone. The catch basin's clean now, so there's no purple. And we'll see we have an inspection tab, and we'll have that history of cleanings. So over the years, as you guys do inspections and cleaning records, you'll always have that history, and you'll see your most recent on the top. If we go back to our info tab here, and we'll scroll down a little bit, we'll see now our invert depth filled in automatically, our final depth filled in, and our sump depth filled in. And that all came from the cleaning record form. So the first year when you're doing these cleanings, it's going to be a little more involved because you got to collect those measurements if you don't have them already. But come year 2 now, let's say we're a year in the future now, we add a cleaning record. Now we have the measurements already for final depth and lowest invert. I can change them if I need to. And now we just need our initial depth. We'll say it's 6 feet this time. So that was just one click. I can submit the record. And just like that, I've added the cleaning record now to the form. All right, so year 1, again, a little more involved, but come year 2, year 3, after everything's been initially cleaned, it's going to be easier and easier to add these records. All right, any questions on cleaning? Yep. Let me see. So you're going to add cleaning and you don't see this field here? Okay. All right, I'll have to check that out. We do want to show the percent full for the cleaners. That's going to let them know if there's an error or not, because you can kind of eyeball how full it is too. All right, yeah, so we'll get that one fixed for Oxford for sure. All right, so that was part of the cleaning. We're also going to have an inlet inspection. So it's going to be more geared towards the MS4 portion. So we're going to add inlet inspection here. We'll see our inspection date's going to fill in automatically. And now we have different types of inspections. We can do a surface, maybe we're sticking a camera down there, confined space entry. So we'll say a surface inspection. And now who's doing the inspection? Again, that's going to come right from your employees table as to who appears in this list. Up next is what is the weather? So weather is really going to impact the flow. So if you're dry weather and there's water gushing into the basin, that's probably not good. So that's why we have the weather question here. And then up next is location, arrow, and medallion. So a lot of towns are now, they're painted in the middle of the street, kind of like a yellow marker as to where the catch basin is. So that way when you're plowing during the winter, you can still locate the catch basin in the field. So we could say the arrow is needed, or the arrow's there. And same thing with the medallion. This is pretty big in the Boston area right now. They're actually embedding this kind of medallion into the sidewalk that says no dumping, especially on like the Charles River. Because still to the public, they see stormwater, they think it's all being treated still. So the medallion's kind of, it's part of your public outreach in a way. So you could say, yeah, the medallion's there on the catch basin, or we definitely need one. So your high traffic areas you'll want to focus on first to get the medallion in. Or you could say it does not apply. And then we get into asset scoring. So we want to score the how the catch basin's operating. So location, arrow, medallion, if those are there or not, the catch basin is still going to perform the same way. So that's not part of your scoring per se. So here on asset scoring, we have different categories, and we're using a 1 to 5 scale. So 1 being poor, 5 is pretty much brand new. And we'll see at the bottom when we submit the record, it'll give us a final score for the asset. So now you're going to know where in town you need replacements for your catch basins, what ones need more repair than others. So pavement ground condition we can score. We say that's a 4. Curb inlet, maybe that's a 5. Cover condition, well, the cover is kind of broken, so we mark that as a 1. And if you're doing anything less than a 3, you'll get a comment box here. You can type in what kind of repair is needed for the catch basin. And all these categories too are going to have a different weight, which impacts the final score. So something like a cover, that's a little more easy to replace than, say, the wall of the catch basin. It's cheaper. So your cover could be maybe half the weight compared to your walls. And from town to town, we'll be able to change the different categories and their weights as well. So if your town really wants to focus on just getting the walls and frames intact, maybe you want to weight that a little more than the cover, as an example. All right. So if you do want to change your weights, let me know. From town to town, we can make that update happen. But that's going to give you the score that you need, that you want. And then we get to frame condition. That's a 4. Oil trap. Maybe that's an A. There's no oil trap there. And finally, the wall condition's a 5. So we'll get some orange text here that says the overall condition index, or OCI, that's going to calculate upon submit. And that's going to give us a final score for our asset now. All right, so any questions on scoring, weights of categories? All right. Yep.
Just a quick question. Forgive me, you mentioned how you can export out the data and product in ArcGIS. Is this all data that then is part of the database that's associated with it, or is it separate?
All the data is going to be linked together. So with these scoring categories here, we want to build a report. So you can run a report and say, show me all catch basins with a cover score less than 3. So now you know where in town needs to get a new cover. You know how many covers to order. So it's going to help with the CIP planning too. So those reports are coming soon. These forms they're kind of new for us right now. But now you can start collecting data, and once we release the report, you'll just get the report automatically. And then you'll see your whole list of your scoring on the report.
But is the attribute information within GIS so that if we open a data set in ArcGIS, we can then also see inspection dates and some of it?
Right, yeah. So right now that export tool is just the shape files per se, so your spatial data. So we're going to include the inspection data with it. So that way you can do all your joining in ARC as well. So for now, it's going to be the reports for your inspections, but I think we're going to want to include that with the export, the geodatabase. All right, so that was asset scoring. And as we move down here, we're going to see some observations now. So some of you may be familiar with this section already. It was on our outfall inspection form. But you can't always reach the outfall. Maybe it's inaccessible, it's buried. So you got to go to the next available upstream structure. So you're going to see this section on the inlet inspection form here. It's going to be on the manhole inspection form as well. But it's where you're going to be doing your sampling for the given catchment. So here we're going to pick our description of flow. So if I picked dry weather earlier, but it's heavy flow. So we got to figure out where that water is coming from now. But we can record that information here in the form. Is the outlet submerged? If we hit yes, that's going to ask us the height above water. And we could type that in here. Inlet observations that we see. Maybe we see some color in the water. Well, the form is going to ask you what color you're seeing. Is it a severe color or kind of like a light color? If we pick odor, it's going to ask you, what are you smelling? All right, we can pick floatables. It's going to ask us what's floating around in the water. It could be foam, maybe some litter, oil, whatever that may be. So this form is pretty detailed, and that's all for a reason. We want to really track down what we're seeing, because that's impacting our output here for the water. And you can type in any other observations you see as well. So again, we can't have a question for everything, but you'll be able to make comments on your observations. Up next is water quality field screening. So with the MRSWC, you guys do have some field testing kits you can use. I believe Fuss & O'Neill is keeping those kits up to date for you. because the chemicals, they expire that you're using, so you got to replace the chemicals, and so on. So your field test kits will all be populated here. So when you're testing for ammonia, we know what kit's being used. We also have the benchmark from the permit. So if you're over, say, a 0.5 milligram per liter of ammonia, that's a red flag. So you want to record that information here on the form and get the problem fixed. So you type in all of your results for field screenings. So ammonia, conductance is in here as well, pH, air temperature and water temperature, dissolved oxygen, chlorine. So there's a lot of different types of stuff you guys can test for, and it's going to be a different kit for each of these chemicals as well. And finally, we have lab results. So there are going to be some cases where you don't want your staff testing the water, so you want to send it into a lab. And they're going to test things like fecal coliform, E. coli. If there's really high ammonia levels, that's something you want to send in as well. So, yeah, the idea behind this is you can collect a sample, send it to the lab. They're going to give you some kind of spreadsheet or PDF output. You'll be able to attach that document right to this form here. And you can also manually enter the results, because, again, we want to build a report for the lab results. But to do so, we need the data in the form. And right at the bottom, we can add in any general comments we want, take photos. And finally, submit the record. So there's certainly a lot there. But as you guys start using the form, you're going to get comfortable with the forms. And here we have our history now of cleanings and inspections. So if we open up that record we just submitted, we see our asset scoring. We're now going to have a total score for the asset. It's a 3.8. And again, different categories will assign different weights to the catch basin. All right, so any questions? Cool. All right, let's go find a manhole. So here we have a manhole. We're going to click on the manhole. And much like an inlet, now we can open the record, make edits to the attributes. We can move the point around, take a photo. But we're going to also do a manhole inspection. So you see the form is set up pretty much the same way. Again, that's all by design. So here with the manhole, we have our inspection type, who's doing the inspection, what's the weather like, and the cover label as well. So we saw one community, they did a flyover, and that's how they got their initial GIS. Well, in the flyover, their covers were all mismatched, so now they have a lot of stormwater drain manholes, but they're really sewer in reality. So we have this question in here to kind of help them replace their covers. So you'll be able to mark your cover label here. But again, that's not a huge priority for the performance of the manhole. It's still going to function whether it says drain or sewer on the cover. And here, there's a couple different categories now for the manhole. Pavement ground condition, cover condition, frame. Here we got collar and ring condition, chimney, cone, wall, steps and ladder condition, outlet invert condition, shelf and bench, the channel. So there's a lot more categories now for the manhole. But again, when we submit the record, it's going to give us a final score for the manhole. And with the manholes too, we can record surcharge. So is it currently surcharged? We hit yes. And now we put that def in. Maybe there's evidence of surcharge and some dry water on the wall there. You can see materials. So that's going to be your evidence of surcharge. You can type that in as well. And we'll get the same exact questions here now for observations, for field screenings, lab results, and so on. All right, now finally at the outfall. So here's an outfall here, the triangle. We see this purple around it, so it's going to need a dry weather inspection. So the permit wants you to get your dry weather inspections done in the first 3 years, and then it's going to kind of transform to wet weather inspections. So we're going to add an inspection record here. And we'll see the first question. What's our category? Dry or wet weather? So we'll pick dry. Who's doing the inspection? Alright, so we type in any comments, and we're going to get the same exact observations and field screening and lab result sections here as well. Alright, so once we submit our outfall record here, we'll see that purple come off the map. And for dry weather, it's going to stay off the map for the next 3 years. Now, some towns do want to inspect outfalls every year. If you're one of those communities, we can update the purple layer. So that way, every year, the purple's just coming back when an inspection's due. So that's no problem at all. But the big thing is going to have that history here the next time you see the asset. All right, so any questions on inspections, adding in attributes, adding new assets, taking photos? Yeah.
I've been out doing like all chemical screens and stuff. Sometimes the bed face go really close together on the map. No matter how much you zoom in, you can't quite like one or the other. So it kind of like a quick asset to it is the option of which one you'd rather choose.
Yeah, so in this case here, we're going to catch basin and manhole kind of on top of each other. So on the map, when we click there, it's going to ask us which one we actually want. Do we want the inlet or do we want the manhole? If we want the inlet, we just click on inlets. And now we have our record here. So now you can add the inspection, take the photo. All right. So any other questions on the quick asset tools here? Cool. All right, so I'm going to show you guys our IDDE tool. Again, that one's going to be kind of data-driven. So we're going to need your catchment polygons for this tool to work. And the polygons are one of the MS4 requirements. I think you had 2 years to get them done, or 1 year. Don't quote me on that. But regardless, that data needs to be complete. So I'm going to jump over to a different website here. And this is our demo site here, set up in Lexington, Mass. I'm going to zoom on in to the square here. So they're doing a little bit more. They're doing water and sewer. So let's turn those layers off, get them out of the way. All right, so now we've got our system here. So we have an outfall, and it's kind of a small neighborhood. But it's pretty clear to see that this is going to make one catchment. So water's going to fall in this one polygon and ultimately end up at the outfall. So during our outfall inspection, maybe we came across some funky color water, or there's a smell coming out. So now we want to start investigating that outfall. So we're going to initiate an IDDE investigation. And according to the permit, you do have to do this for every catchment as well. At least start your investigation after, I think it's a few years. Yeah, don't quote me on any of these deadlines. There's a lot of deadlines there. A little hard to remember here, but we're going to initiate our IDD investigation. It's automatically going to get an ID number, which is just the outfall ID and the date. We'll say the status is open. Maybe we could take a photo of what the initial problem is and type in our initial comments. Why are we launching the investigation? What were we kind of seeing? And we're going to submit the record. So now that the investigation is open, oops. We should be seeing some colors here now. Sorry about that. Let me jump over to a different site here, because that's not working how I want it to. So I'm jumping over to Newton now. We have Stormwater and IDDE. So here we see our catchment polygons. And as I zoom in, sorry about that. So here we have an outfall. We can launch an investigation for the outfall. Ooh, looks like the tool has broken. So the investigation is going to color the map. So all of your pipes are going to have a pink background behind them. And it's going to let you know that the investigation is launched. Yeah, it's going to get that tool fixed. I apologize for that. But here now we can click on the pipe. And the goal with the investigation, you want to examine your key junction manholes. So the permit says you can start at the outfall and kind of work your way upstream, or you can start upstream and work your way down. I think it kind of makes sense to start at the outfall and just work your way up. That way when you find a problem, you know it's just eliminated without having to investigate every pipe. It's going to be up to you guys. The software will work either way. But you're going to start at a key junction manhole, which is going to be a point where kind of multiple separate systems are going into one. So you see here we have a manhole. There's 2 catch basins on the left. We got kind of a system on the right, and there's a system coming from the south. So that's going to be kind of our key junction here. So that's a good manhole to start at. And we'll see if this is working here. Yeah, and I apologize, the tool is not cooperating right now. But we'll be able to add our investigations now to the pipe. So at the pipe, we have options to maybe add a sandbag. If there's no water coming out, we can add a sandbag to the pipe to kind of collect a pool of water. Maybe a couple of days later, we'll go back, and now we can grab a sample of that water, use your field testing kits to test the different chemicals, ammonia, chlorine, and so on. That's going to be an activity you can add to your investigation. All right, so the map's going to change colors based off different statuses. So maybe you suspect there's a problem there, the map will turn orange behind the pipe. Once you confirm the issue, it's going to turn red. So with the permit, once you confirm an issue, it's only 48 hours to make a plan to fix the issue. So just be careful about confirming issues in the field. And then we do have some reports coming soon. And the reports will show you basically all of your investigations, all the activities you put into your investigations. So all your sandbagging, cameras, maybe if you're doing a dye test, you can record that as well. So I do apologize that the tool is not quite working here. But we'll get that turned on once we have your catchment polygons. So that's step 1, is to get those delineated. All right. So finally we have, I'm going to jump over to a different site here. So I did mention that we do have some directors that we're meeting with, and they're kind of guiding us as to what tools we need. So the past 8 months, the big priority has been quick asset editing tools. Because before, yeah, you can add points in quick asset, but then you got to use the computer tool to add the pipe. Now we can do everything right from the same quick asset page on your tablet. So right now, we have a few towns doing some testing for us, but the goal is to push these tools out to all of MRSWC. So now you guys will be able to make edits in the field. And you're going to see here, now we have to log into Quick Asset. So that way we can track who's making edits, who's deleting records. And we'll have reports as well to show all the edits, all the deleted points. And there'll be a link in that report. You can kind of revert your edits. So if you were to use the checkout tool, download your data and make edits in Esri, well, once you make an edit and save the edit, there's no getting that back. But now with our report, you'll be able to click the link and you kind of restore your edits if the edit was done in our platform. So we're going to log into Quick Asset here. And you guys will be able to control who can make edits, who can make draft edits, who can make final edits. And that'll all be in that employees table as well, coming soon. So same Quick Asset site, but now we have a pencil icon here. And I'm going to zoom on in. And that pencil is going to represent the editing tools. So again, these tools are not pushed out to you guys yet, but we want to get them out to you guys. So we'll turn off water and sewer. And now we have our editing tools turned on. And we're going to see some red boxes here now. And the red boxes are going to show you areas in town where you don't have the connectivity. So maybe there's a catch basin with no pipe. Maybe there's an outfall point with no pipe. Maybe there's a pipe with no points. So these red boxes are going to guide you and help you complete the system. So when we scroll up here, we have a catch basin on the side, and there's just no pipe drawn at all. So now with editing tools, we can click on the point here. And we're going to get some more options now on the right, or on the left side. So we can kind of move the point, we can add a pipe. Maybe we can want to delete the asset. And again, you guys can control who has access to what tool. So first, maybe we want to move the point. So previously, as it stands now, you gotta open the form and then use that map or hit that map it button in the form. So we have a new interface here now. You can do a single click on the map, and that's gonna move the crosshairs. You can also use the arrows, kind of fine tune that location for you on the map. Here we'll have our X, Y, and the Z field as well. And you'll see we can use our GPS with elevation. Right now it's grayed out. I'm not connected to the Leica. But if I did have the Leica antenna, now I can hit this button. It's going to fill in X, Y, and Z for you. So every town's going to have our GPS profile as well. So if you're on a regular tablet, you're going to use your tablet profile because we know the accuracy isn't going to be as strong. But if you do have the Leica set up, you're going to pick your Leica profile instead. And here we're going to submit draft, submit final. Let's submit final. And just like that, it's going to move the point. So I don't have to open any forms or anything. It's kind of built into the interface here. All right, I can also add a stormwater gravity drain pipe. So I can hit the tool. It's going to make the pipe for me. And now I can snap it to any point I want. And here I'll submit final. And that's going to give me the form now. Now I can fill out the attributes, material, diameters, things like that. We'll hit main. Maybe it's a PVC pipe. We're going to submit the record. So now we see that red box is now gone because now we have a pipe going out of the catch basin. That water's going to go somewhere, and now that pipe is there in place. So with the pipes, the flip tool is built right into these tools here. So we can flip that flow direction if we need to. We can edit the pipe now. And we can create new nodes. We can also delete nodes. So a single click on the node will allow us to get rid of that bend and smooth your pipe out. We can also split the pipe at a node as well. And that's going to cut the pipe in half and create a new pipe record for you. All right, so these tools are pretty great. Now, if I were to move the point, let's say I click on the catch basin, and we'll go back to our move point interface. When I move the point, the pipe's going to move with it now as well. So we'll move it there, hit submit final, and that's just going to extend that pipe with the point. All right, so these tools are a lot easier because when you're finding problems with GIS, you're in the field with a tablet. So yeah, I remember working for Spencer a couple years ago, and we had a bunch of printouts of the maps. It was all pen and paper, and then try and go back to the office, and then you can't read your own notes. It was kind of a pain to make the edits, but now it's all just done right from your tablet. All right, so these tools are certainly coming soon, hopefully in the near future. And everyone's gonna get them. It's gonna be great. All right. So, any questions on editing tools? Cool. All right. Any questions on anything? Reports, maps online, adding an asset. All right. Looks like the rain might have stopped. You guys want to go out in the parking lot, maybe find some catch basins, practice with Auburn site, take some photos, maybe edit some attributes, get some hands-on experience with the tool? Yeah? All right. Cool. Yeah, so that's everything. Let me go outside and get the experience with the tool, and then you guys will be on your way. And I have some extra tablets here as well, if you guys don't have tablets.